Revelations can begin in the most unlikely places. For instance, they might occur in the shopping aisles of a supermarket in the mostly Hispanic neighborhood of South Ontario, California, located just off the I-10 corridor in an agricultural industrial stretch known as the Inland Empire. A revelation can even take place in the imagination of a janitor, someone others might consider the least likely candidate to have a major flash of inspiration. At the age of 28, I had been part of the janitorial team at Frito-Lay for more than 9 years and had already been toying with ideas and side hustles that I hoped would add to my family's much-needed income. The garage was packed with my efforts to develop a signature product. We'd even made a little profit from door-to-door selling of my wife Judy's homemade tortillas and salsa. Snacks, in my opinion, have always been essential to good life. Let me tell you, there's nothing like eating Cheetos, Fritos, or Doritos right off the line. It's like getting bread fresh from the bakery. The chips are still warm, and the crispness done right can be close to perfection. The famous line in the much-quoted ad from back in the day, "Bet you can't eat just one," was no hype. The whole chip food production process was basically in my DNA. Growing up in Guasti with a vineyard in my backyard, coincidentally within walking distance to Frito-Lay, I was able to observe the planting, growing, and harvesting seasons. I also learned the entrepreneurial story of the township's Italian immigrant founder, Secondo Guasti, who had come to America in the late 1800s with nothing but some grapevine cuttings. When he heard about a plot of land being sold dirt cheap, he looked at it and did what visionaries do. He saw the unseen. Not the same dry soil awful for crops that others saw. The earth he saw reminded him of home perfect for a vineyard. He imagined everything he could create from almost nothing. That's a revelation. Guasti and his wife not only planted grapes and began their winery, but they also built housing, a store, a post office, and a church for their workers. That's a revolution. My parents, grandparents, and other relatives had come to Guasti in the 1950s as migrant farm workers, at a time when the demand for unskilled, cheap labor had skyrocketed. They too imagined better lives, if not for themselves, then for their children and grandchildren. As a first-generation American, I never lost my sense of pride that my family's hard work had helped put food and wine on the table for others. Despite our close quarters, we made the most of it, especially at dinner, when our family gathered with other farm workers and their children in a central dining room. The food was basic, but hearty and flavorful. We may have been among the poorest families in the area, but as a young child, I thought of us as a fun poor. Once I'd grown up, married, and had a family of my own to feed and clothe, money woes were no longer fun at all. Fortunately, at the age of 28, I had a steady job as a janitor and had learned enough to help on the production line when extra shifts were available. Unfortunately, by the early 1990s, it had become apparent to most of the plant managers and frontline workers at Frito-Lay facility in Rancho Cucamonga that the salty snack business was in trouble. Sales for even our top brands were down. Rank-and-file workers like me usually didn't get the sales reports, but we could feel their effect. Hours were being cut. Maybe you know how scary that can be, as it is for anyone who has gone through a downturn in the economy, including past recessions and especially the disastrous toll from the recent global health pandemic. An atmosphere of fear spread through the ranks. Workers who usually clocked in for 40-hour shifts saw their time go down to 30 hours a week, then to 28, and still falling. All I could think about was how to create more hours for myself and for fellow employees too. Then I watched a memorable video sent from HQ in Dallas, Texas, created by Roger Enrico, on his way at the time to being made CEO of PepsiCo. To solve the problem of sagging sales, rather than go to outside experts or only to his food scientists, the charismatic and down-to-earth Enrico decided to empower every one of the employees at Frito-Lay. On the video, he explained that he wanted everyone who worked for the company to act like an owner.